Hello, this is Mrs. Meyer, and I'm going to talk through the lab syllabus for Biology 100. So, as I said in the course syllabus, the lecture syllabus, the lecture itself is worth 3 credits and the lab is worth 1 credit. So they are scored differently and given credit differently in your college transcript. So you could technically get 1 grade for the lecture and a different grade for the lab. What I'm going to do for your grade book is you will see your lecture score in the grade book at school along with the lab score in the grade book as well, and they will be a joint score in the grade book for the high school. But then I'll keep a separate grade book for keeping the lecture and the lab apart, and so I will let you know quite often what your lecture grade is and what your lab grade is separately, so you can keep track of that. Okay, so on to the syllabus itself. So these are the main learning outcomes that SMSU has established for its Bio 100 lab. We're going to be looking at the scientific method, so making sure that you know how to make observations, how to formulate a hypothesis, design an experiment, and using controls. You'll also be interpreting graphs and tables and also being able to construct graphs and tables. And then finally, representing your experimental findings or data orally and in writing and using binomial nomenclature, which is the 2-name system that we use in biology, and appropriate scientific format with citations when necessary in those reports. So the format of these reports are varied. Some labs will be evaluated by a formal lab report. That's a typed out full lab report from hypothesis to conclusion. Others will simply be recorded in your science notebook, and it might not be the full lab report in your science notebook. It might just be a part of it. It might just be the conclusion or the data analysis. Another difference is that at the end of the year, every college biology student will be completing a long-term research project, and you will have options to present this at various places. We'll talk more about this in class, but in general, everybody will be presenting their project somehow. And then finally, I talked about this at great length in the course syllabus, the lecture syllabus, but remember that any academic dishonesty or plagiarism results in 0 points for the assignment or the exam, and this includes labs as well. So you have to remember to use your citations if you're referencing another person's work, and obviously no copying or sharing of lab reports. So the grading for this section is again on straight out points. The labs that are in your notebook will total between 100 and 150 points. The labs that are typed up as formal lab reports will be 180 points, and then your end of the year research project is worth 100 points. So the total falls between 380 and 430 points. And however many points you get out of that total will determine your percentage. And there's the percentage scale right there. Okay, if you miss a lab, you have to make up that lab within the same amount of days as the absence. So if you miss 1 day of school and we had lab on that day, you have 1 day to get caught up. If you missed 3 days of school and you missed lab within those 3 days, you have 3 days to get caught up. Also, on top of doing the lab within those 3 days, you would have additional time as well to complete the lab assignment. So basically everything gets bumped up, the lab and the assignment, in the same number of days as what you were missing. Okay, and just like in the lecture syllabus, there is a proposed schedule for the lab syllabus as well. Again, this is flexible. There might be a few additional labs. There might be, some labs we end up skipping. But this is the plan as of now. You can see there are a total of 15 different types of labs you'll be doing. Some are just in the notebook, and those are worth 10 points. And some are formal lab reports, which are worth 30 points. And then don't forget there's the end of the year research project, which is worth 100 points. Right, that pretty much kind of wraps up the lab syllabus. Again, if you have questions in class, we will certainly go over them. I think it's good to get them all out of the way now so you know exactly what to expect and where we're headed for the year.